We're talking about our children, which I know is also one of the issues that's a burning issue for my own mother. No, she's listening right now. We talk about this all the time. What's happening with our young children? One of the lessons that my mother taught me was that as a woman, as a member of a community, you're responsible for the family, not just in the immediate surroundings, but for the family and the community. And so in some way, we are all connected. So one of the things she taught us at a very, very early age was how to share and how to work with community members. And I'm quite sure that you are thinking this right now, that so much has changed since those days when all the children of a community belonged to all the mothers of a community and all the fathers of a community. In true African way, you taught us that it really does take a village to raise a child. All right, so have a good day today to my mother, Mrs. Doris Williams, on this very, very special day. One of the best that there ever was and is. Sample, you know. Seriously. Happy Mother's Day to you. All right, we're taking your Mother's Day greetings by telephone mainly. 974-5079, 5051, 5043, and 1-888-991-4152. Hotep? Hotep?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Hotep to you. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Hotep? Hotep, go ahead and send your greetings.
Hello, good morning.
Hotep to you. Go ahead and send your greetings.
Hello, good morning.
Now you're inside of the Africa Forum. And if you're joining us for the first time, we tend to say Hotep to each other around here in the language of ancient Kemet, which means peace. So when we say Hotep, we're saying peace. And I'm going to say Hotep, just as you insist on saying good morning. Okay, we go back to the phone lines. Hotep?
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architectural and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans to spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankongo and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early were the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, who speared and sacrificed. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon-free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We ask those Africans who went with Boukman Dessalines to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Very, very pleasant morning to you. It is 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Sunday, May 10, Ankuja Sanev. It is May 10, it is Mother's Day. Historical antecedents aside, mothers are being celebrated across the Western world, most of the Western world, this morning. And inside of the Africa Forum, as we usually do, we pause also to celebrate mothers on this Mother's Day. Reuniting the African family for development, blazing new paths towards Africa's rendezvous with destiny, bearing witness, understanding what it means to bear witness, demanding change, crafting an African-centered agenda for change and development, honoring my moral obligation to remember my mothers. I am the Queen Kandakis. I am Hatshepsut. I am Queen Nani. I am the woman warrior, Sedong Hongbe. Of Dahomey. I am Crystal. I am Nzinga. Honoring my moral obligation to remember. Thank you so much for joining us inside of the Africa Forum, Running Africa this morning, a special program. Desperate times, we say, call for desperate measures. And on this Mother's Day, we talk about respecting and protecting our children. This morning, deviating from the usual greetings, because we are going to take your greetings this morning, but not for the entire program. We're going to be joined in studio by members of the Respect and Protect the Children initiative, a call to action to end child abuse in Jamaica. The founder, principal of the Belmont Academy, Mr. Ryan Simpson. Pastor Maria Parchment, chair of the Respect and Protect the Children Committee. Mr. Wolde Christus, member of the Logistics Committee. Ms. Kimona Hudson, co-chair of the Respect and Protect the Children Committee. And Mr. Dalton Leng, chair of the Logistics Committee. They're going to be joining me in studio this morning on this Mother's Day, because once again we say that when our house is burning down, it's no use beating the tom-toms. When our house is burning down, we can't just sit back and send greetings to each other in the middle of the fire. We can't be saying hello, hi, how are you with a smile when our houses are burning down. We must be calling to each other to say, come help me put out this fire. And this is what the Respect and Protect Coalition is about. Putting out the fire of child abuse. Putting out the fire of molestation, rape, incest. Putting out the fire of murder, physical and verbal abuse, financial abuse. So this morning, on this Mother's Day, May 10, 2015, our house is burning down, and we ain't about to beat the tom-toms. So members of the Respect and Protect Coalition initiative, join me in the studio this morning. We want to welcome once again on board our sponsor, Adwa Nutrition for Life Health Food Store, located at shop number 42 City Center Mall and shop number 2 Westgate Plaza, Montego Bay. Adwa Nutrition, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Of course, we're going to say hello to each other in different segments of the program. But in this Africa Forum this morning, our focus is on respecting and protecting our children. Reuniting the African family for development. Thank you so much for joining us inside of the Africa Forum.
Running African, reuniting the African family for development.
Kicking things off on this Mother's Day with the sound of the man we call Uncle Ernie, Ernest Ranglin, one of the greatest guitarists of all time, from the album called Ultimate Wrangling Roots. The track is called Diamond, Wrangling's Diamond. Gonna be taking your greetings in the first part of the program, but just hang on there. As we bring you up to speed with some of what's been happening in our news briefs. I just want to say thanks to the Social Development Commission, for the Local Economic Development Support Program, the LEDSP, with a Thinking Community and Thinking Business. The program was launched in the courtyard of IRA FM on May 7th. That was Thursday. Got a chance to meet and greet with some of the small business operators, the community businesses. And it is heartening to see communities, members of communities coming out or developing enterprises. So great work from the SDC. Let us keep the focus on that. And thanks to all the folks who came out to the launch on May 7th, right here in the courtyard of IRFM. Our Master of Ceremonies was Elise Kelly. Guest speaker was the Prime Minister, Portia Simpson Miller. Performances from Marjan Prep and Columbus Prep. Presentations from the representatives of the Comet Project. Minister Ascot. Heart Trust NTA. University of the West Indies. It was a good day. Okay, so this is how we're going to be doing it. Taking your greetings in segments, and so for the next half an hour, we'll be going to the phone lines to give you a chance to say Happy Mother's Day to your mother or to the mother in your life. And our soundtrack for this morning comes from Ernest Ranglin. Uncle Ernie, thank you so much. So the phone lines are now open. In the first tranche, just ahead of my conversation with my very special guests from the Respect and Protect Our Children initiative, we'll take your greetings. 974-5079. 5051 5043 and 1-888-991-4152. The numbers are now, the phone lines are now open. So So this is where we're taking your greetings this morning on the phone lines. 974-5079, 5051, 5043, 5051, 5043, 1-888-991-4152. Hotep, go ahead. Send your greetings.
Hello, good. Happy Mother's Day to you, please.
Thank you so much, Hotep.
Okay.
Right.
And Happy Mother's Day to myself first, too.
Happy Mother's Day to you, my darling. What's your name?
Lovely Thomas.
Okay, Happy Mother's Day, Lovely. Go ahead and send your greetings.
Have some greetings here. First, I would say Happy Mother's Day greetings to Miss Grace Thomas in Prickly Pole, St. Anne, and Miss Joyce Campbell, and Miss Gurley Fullerton, and Charmaine Thomas, and Marie Thomas, Stephanie Thomas, Nadine Thomas, Rhonda Rose, Miss D. Thomas, Sandra Martin, Melva Martin, Alicia Steer, G. Steer, Pauline Dawkins, Girly Ebank, Paulisha Lars, Miss Meg Campbell, Miss Jean Campbell, Anola Johnson, Miss Vinette Robb, Miss Jean Francis, and Munchie Thomas. All these greetings are coming from Lovely Thomas in Prickly Pole, St. Anne.
Lovely. You know, the more you talk, I said, at some point she's going to send greetings to my own family. And you know, I heard it.
Who is that?
Lord, whoever in the family named Lord. That's my family.
Okay.
All right. Well, happy Mother's Day to you, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As we say, happy Mother's Day to all the lords and the lords from Hopewell, Marlborough, St. Mary, Claudia, and all the mothers in the family. Happy Mother's Day to you. Going back to the phone lines, Hotep.
Hello, good morning.
Hotep, my sister, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Mel, from 9 Miles St. Helens.
Yes.
Auntie Molly Marston. Max Davis. Auntie Nev. Mark. Didi. Peaches.
Yes.
Miss Liddy. Miss Rose. And myself, Sashane.
Sashane, happy Mother's Day to you, all right?
Same to you, Auntie.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
All right, we're taking your greetings in this segment of the program. Remember, we're doing it in tranches this morning. Because we feel that when our house is burning down, it's no use beating the tom-toms. So we're going to be having a conversation this morning about respecting and protecting our children on this Mother's Day. Hotep?
Good morning.
Yes, Hotep, go ahead.
I want to send Mother's Day greeting to my nice queen mother, Lydia Black, and my grandmother, Emily Clark, and my sister, O'Sheen. And happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Thank you so much. And are you mom?
Repeat?
No, are you mom?
No, I'm not a mom.
Okay. What's your name?
Latia Goyegan from your son.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Have a good day today, all right?
You too.
All right. On the text line, Mother's Day greetings. Lurleen Clark of Johnsontown, Lucy coming from Paula. As we continue to take your greetings, Hotep.
Good morning.
Hotep, go ahead.
Happy Mother's Day to you, Andrea.
Thank you so much, and same to you.
Yes, this is Ira Mama.
Hey, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
All right.
Enjoying the program so far.
All right. Give thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. Who you sending greetings to?
I'm sending greetings to Tanisha, Mrs. Tanisha Blake, Stacy and Borland, Janice Borland, and all the mothers around the world, whether you birth a child or mother to a child. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
All right.
Coming from Ira Mama.
Give thanks, Ari Mama. Walk good, all right? Happy Mother's Day to you.
Yeah.
It is Mother's Day in Jamaica. It's Mother's Day in most of the Western world, not necessarily all of it. It's not being celebrated as Mother's Day in England today. No, not in the UK or Ireland or, well, the UK, the United Kingdom. And in many other places, actually. All right, here we go. Happy Mother's Day to you, Hotep.
Morning.
Yes, Hotep.
Hotep.
Yeah.
I'd like to send Happy Mother's Day. But Happy Mother's Day to you first and all the mothers of IRFM.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and Happy Mother's Day to my mother and all of the foster mothers, just the same.
All right, great.
Long time I ain't heard from you.
From me?
Yes.
I wonder why.
Oh, it's fire.
Huh?
It's just fire.
Long time you haven't heard from who?
From you, it's just fire. You don't remember me.
When you say you haven't heard from me long time, what do you mean? You haven't heard from me on IRFM, you haven't heard me on the radio, you haven't heard me on the program?
No, like personal. The last time I said was like up by Peter Touch, but some mishap happened with the driver that we come with and have to leave, so I never get to talk to you.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, we're here. Good to hear you. Thanks so much for calling.
You're coming to serve on Friday?
We'll talk about that later, but thank you so much for calling, all right?
You're coming to serve on Friday?
Yeah, man, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Give thanks.
Friday?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
And the brother is asking about Friday because Friday, May 15 is National Children's Day. And the Respect and Protect Our Children initiative, staging a road march, a motorcade, and a mass rally in Savannah, Lamar. Going to be talking about that later on. All right, here we go, Hotep.
Hey, happy Mother's Day, Kabu.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Yes, I'm okay. And happy Mother's Day to my mother, Winsome Hamilton, in Daytona Beach, Florida. My wife, Demora, in Prospect, Hanover. My stepmother, Lana, in Miguel. And to Mama Elise Kelly. And all the mothers at IFM. And to my auntie, Daphne Dennis, and everybody. And it's coming from Bush Tea in Prospect, Hanover.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
All right, Bush Tea. Yeah, man.
Welcome, man.
On the text line, good morning. I want to send a happy Mother's Day to my mom, Jennifer Edwards, Tashana Henry, Ruby Henry, Charmaine Gordon, coming from Rochelle Henry. Also, happy Mother's Day greetings to my special mom. Her name is Gladys Thompson. She is from White House, Westmoreland, from Trace. As we go back to the phone lines, Hotep?
Yes, good morning, Angela.
Hi, Hotep.
I would like to send Mother's Day greetings to you, Elise Kelly, Marcia Douglas of Charlestown, Sharon, Natalie Burton of Scottsdale, Roxanne, Rochelle, my sister Dib, Dan, McIntosh, Kenisha not over Scottsdale, and to myself.
All right, thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Okay then, and greetings coming from Angela.
Okay, Angela, happy Mother's Day to you. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you, Cabo.
We're taking your telephone calls on this Mother's Day. On the text line, good morning, Andrew. I'm sending happy birthday and Mother's Day to my wonderful mother, Olive Gordon Barrett, and Mother's Day to my sister, Peter Gay. Happy Mother's Day, Asafa number 1 fan, Desreen Morrison Johnson, from Johnson Mountain, St. Thomas, from Jerry. All right, we're taking your Mother's Day greetings by telephone mainly. 974-5079, 5051, 5043, and 1-888-991-4152. Hotep? Hotep?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Hotep to you. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Hotep? Hotep, go ahead and send your greetings.
Hello, good morning.
Hotep to you. Go ahead and send your greetings.
Hello, good morning.
Now you're inside of the Africa Forum, and if you're joining us for the first time, we tend to say Hotep to each other around here in the language of ancient Kemet, which means peace. So when we say Hotep, we're saying peace. And I'm going to say Hotep, just as you insist on saying good morning. Okay, we go back to the phone lines. Hotep? Hotep?
Pauline Grant.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, Hotep.
Alita Grant.
Are you sending greetings now?
Yes, miss.
All right, go ahead.
Pauline Grant. Alita Grant. Benita Grant. Lisa Grant. Yeah.
What's your name?
Kevin Stone.
Okay, where are you calling from, Kevin?
But.
Where is that? Which parish? Which parish?
St. Thomas.
All right, thanks so much for calling. All right, have a good day today. Happy Mother's Day to Pat, Mitzi, Judy in Islington from Millie. Please send happy Mother's Day to Juliet McFarlane Campbell of Wales Pond and Cambridge District, coming from daughter Christina. Send Mother's Day greetings to my mom, Maisie Beckford, my wife, Amanda, my sister, Leonie, and greetings to you as well from Joseph. As we go back to the phone lines. Hotep?
Hotep.
Hotep, my brother, go ahead.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you so much.
I want to say happy Mother's Day greetings. Please.
You have a very, very windy background there, but go ahead. Yes?
Oh, it's windy?
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Still windy?
No, we're hearing you good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Miss Elise of Lewis.
Yeah.
Janet of Cardwell in Hanover. And Miss G. And all the mothers who know Sponge.
All right, Sponge. Where you calling from?
I'm way up in the hills of Farmers Heights.
Farmers Heights?
That's why it's so windy.
Okay. Which parish is that?
Right here in St. Anne.
In St. Anne, Farmers Heights.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know Farmers Heights, but it's good to know about Farmers Heights in St. Anne. Right.
Where it goes, come civilized and come up all the way up.
Oh, okay. I know where, exactly. Way up in the hills.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for calling. Yeah, man.
All right. Come.
As we take your Mother's Day greetings on this here Mother's Day, Sunday, May 10, 2015. We go back to the phone lines. Hotep?
Good morning.
Hotep to you, my sister. Go ahead.
I'd like to send Mother's Day greetings to my mother, Pernita Williams of White River Buff Bay, Portland.
Yeah.
It's coming from her daughter, Sharon, Dawn, Marie, and Caroline. Her son, Kevin Black,
Junior, and Donovan, and her 17 grandchildren and 3 great-grands.
All right. And
telling her to have a wonderful day today.
And what's your name?
My name is Sharon Matariki, and I'm calling from Buff Bay, Portland.
Okay, Sharon, thanks so much for calling. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Thank you. Also to Simone.
All right, okay.
All right.
On the text line, I'd like to send Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Monica Del, part of Landry St. Thomas, and my 7 sisters, and my 1 sister-in-law, Diane, from Cheyenne, to all mothers. All right. Happy Mother's Day greetings to my mother, Eliza, Tasha, Sheena, Miss D, and Sonia. On the text line. Hey, we're taking your Mother's Day greetings. We're doing it in segments. If you're just joining us inside of the Africa Forum on this Mother's Day, thank you so much. We're focusing on respecting and protecting our children this morning. And in a little while, members of the Respect and Protect Our Children initiative will be joining me in the studio to talk about how we deal with situations when our house is burning down, and even long before the houses are set on fire. And so they're going to be talking about the initiatives that are being put in place and that are already in place, respecting and protecting our children. As we go back to the phone lines, Hotep?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to send greetings to my mom, Jennifer Winter, Auntie Moy, Auntie Dini, Sweetie Daya, and the rest of the family.
What's your name?
Shane.
Okay, where are you calling from, Shane?
Chilani.
All right, thanks so much for calling. Have a good day, all right?
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, the music you're listening to in the background is from Ernest Ranglin, one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Uncle Ernie from the album Ultimate Wrangling Roots. Track is called Diamond. It is Sunday, May 10. It is being observed here in Jamaica as Mother's Day. May is actually Child Month. Our theme this year, children's safety and security, our priority. And the Respect and Protect Our Children initiative on May 15 is calling the family together from all across Jamaica to Westmoreland, Savannah, Lamar. To publicly take a stand against child abuse. To publicly take a stand against incest, molestation, rape. To publicly take a stand against the killing and the murder of our children. To publicly take a stand against the general abuse of our children in Jamaica. May 15. That's this Friday, of course, as we go to the phone lines. Hotep?
Hello, good morning.
Hotep, my brother, go ahead.
I'd like to send my Mother's Day greetings to my mom, Miss Ines. She's in CFE St. Elizabeth, and also my 9 sisters. And happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers of RFM.
Thank you so much.
I'm a gold dog calling from CFE St. Louis.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. Have a good day.
I left them.
All right. By the way, we've been taking your greetings on the phone lines and on the text line. Now, the text line is 390-9863. 390-9863. Happy Mother's Day going out to Mom Charmaine Wilson in Barking Lot, St. Thomas, coming from son Danny. Want to send Mother's Day greetings to my mother Gwendolyn and my stepmother Esmond from Joel. Happy Mother's Day to Aldith Ricketts in Portland from her cousin in Portmore as we go back to the phone lines. Hotep? Hotep, my sister, go ahead.
Good morning. I send Mother's Day greetings to Bernard Bucknell in Orange Park for my daughters and son, Marcia, Diana, Nicole Olston, Martella Olston, from Manig.
And your name?
Angie.
Angie, thank you so much for calling. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Happy Mother's Day to you too.
All right, give thanks. All right, we're taking your Mother's Day greetings as we go back to the phone lines. Hotep?
Hello?
Yes, Hotep, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Happy Mother's Day to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and Happy Mother's Day to my mother in Grairfield District, Money PO. Her name is Adela Walker. And also every mother's in Grairfield itself, and to my aunt Lucille Hall in Phoenix Park, Money, and to all the other mothers them in Jamaica.
All right, and what's your name?
Coming from our son Paul Walker.
All right, Paul, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Hotep?
Good morning.
Hi, Hotep.
Yeah, I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the staff of Irie.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and to my mother, Miss Joycey Hyde in Springville, St. Catherine. And to Sharnet Mabunanunus. And Miss Deb, Miss Cherry, Miss Rona, work at the Linford Post Office, Miss Roach, and all the staff, and all the mothers in Wakefield, St. Catherine, and Springvale.
All right, and what's your name?
I'm King Travis.
All right, King Travis, where are you calling from?
Wakefield, St. Catherine.
All right, thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
All right, we are going to take a quick break and come right back.
Reuniting the African family for development.
All right, just a quick look at what's happening in the news. Our news briefs from the continent of Africa. We understand that former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has been handed a jail sentence in a retrial on corruption charges he faced earlier. The court also convicted the deposed leader's sons. Ousted Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak sentenced to 3 years in prison on Saturday, along with his 2 sons. Mubarak was also fined. The court did not specify if it will count the time he has already served since being arrested months after the popular 2011 uprising that toppled him. Also, international efforts to address food insecurity must pay more attention to the role forests play in good food production. And this is according to a panel of scientists. A report issued on May 6 by the International Union of Forest Research Organizations, a body convened by the United Nations, says forests should be considered as a food sources rather than just areas for conservation. It says the concerns of people living in or near forests should be included in the final version of the Sustainable Development Goals, one of which currently focuses on ending hunger and promoting sustainable agriculture. The report warns that most governments separate forests from food production when making policy, usually having different departments deal with each. As a result, the two areas must compete for funding and political attention, and policies that benefit one may harm the other, according to the report, something that we should heed also here in Jamaica. And here is another coming out of Addis Ababa. Africa should tap its own wealth to finance development. Ethiopia's Prime Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Abraham Teketse, told the annual joint gathering of the African Union and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. It's taking place in Addis Ababa. Participants in the week-long conference include Ethiopia's Prime Minister, Haile Mariam Desalegn, and Presidents Paul Kagame of Rwanda and Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as Ministers of Finance, Planning and Economic Development from across the continent. And here is good news. A herbal tea that could combat malaria is due to start its first clinical trial in July, researchers have announced. The brew called Shea will be trialed against a conventional malaria drug with funding from the Ministry of Health in Burkina Faso. The Shea tea has been used in the country for more than 30 years. The thing that we have to wait and see on this one is how Codex is going to be dealing with this one. We're watching that. Hey, we've been talking about women in African history, and we want to talk some more about women in African history on this Mother's Day. I want to look briefly at the women warriors of Dahomey. Don't know how much you know about the women warriors of Dahomey, but the idea of the Amazon Queens. There are a lot of stories, lots of movies, lots of tales written about the Amazon Queens. Well, the Amazon Queens, as you know, that's a myth. I'm sure you know that's a myth. Really, the story tells the tale of the women warriors of Dahomey. These women who really existed, who really lived, who were really warriors, and who led armies of only females. History is rife with the tales of fighting women. More often than not, these stories prove more legend than the history. And as I said, we have heard about the Amazons of ancient Asia Minor. We've heard about myths of fierce, autonomous women of martial excellence. The only thoroughly documented Amazons in world history are those who fought for the West African kingdom of Dahomey, which is now Benin, in the 18th and 19th centuries. They were originally palace guards The Dahomian women, warriors, they were called Mino, M-I-N-O, meaning our mothers. And we salute the Dahomian warrior women, Mino, our mothers. They evolved into royal bodyguards, and by the 1760s and 1770s, they evolved into professional troops, armed mainly with muskets, machetes, and clubs. We salute their leader, Sheng Dong Hang Bei. Theoretically, these women were so into celibacy. They enjoyed a semi-sacred status and numerous privileges. We celebrate our mothers, the women warriors of Dahomey, this morning. In the 1840s, the number of Amazons, the number of Minos, swelled from hundreds to as many as 6,000 as Dahomey sought to offset a large manpower advantage, woman power advantage, held by its chief trading rivals, the Yoruba of southwestern Nigeria. The women were usually dressed in uniforms. They became the frontline shock troops of the army, a role they would perform with distinction until the kingdom's final defeat by France in 1892. They served in their own units under their own women officers with their own marching bands, flags, and insignia. Intensively trained, they out-drilled, outshot, and outfought their more numerous male comrades. They were renowned for their ferocity and their fearlessness. The women warriors of Dahomey, the Minos, our mothers. We salute them on this Mother's Day, May 10. Understanding the history and understanding our history is important, you know, because I know we tell our children and we read the stories and we watch the movies of warriors of other places, and these are just myths and just legends and not even real women. But we tell our children these stories. We never tell them, though, do we, of the Minos, our mothers, the strong, fearless women, 6,000 strong, with their bayonets and their machetes and their clubs, defending their country and attacking when needs be. Our mothers, the Minos of Dahomey, we celebrate them. We saw the Minos of Dahomey manifested, material manifestation point, in the women warriors of Morant Bay. Ellen Dawkins, the women warriors of Morant Bay. Ellen Dawkins, Letitia Gohegan, Isabella Gohegan, Rosanna Finlayson, Elizabeth Faulkner, Judy Edwards, Mary Ward, Caroline Grant, Sarah Johnson, Sarah Francis, Marianne Francis, Ellen Dawkins, Justina Taylor, and the over 200 women and girls who were mercilessly flogged. The women warriors of the Emancipation Wars, 1831 to 1832. The women warriors who fought alongside Ni Tai Chi, that's Chief Taki. The women warriors who fought alongside Baba Sam Shah. And of course the women warriors who fought and led in the Morant Bay Revolution. We salute the women warriors. On this Mother's Day, May 10, 2015, we salute woman warrior Mama Yaya Vita Kimpa of Congo Dia Ntola. Yaya Vita Kimpa. We salute Mama Yaya Vita Kimpa of Congo, who fought against the enslavement of the mind through European and Eurocentric Christianity, the religion of the colonialists, and the system of imposed rule of Europeans, which led the suffering of black people at the hands of the colonizers. Mama Yaya Kimpa Vita was a prophet and a leader in the Congo Empire. She started her own Christian movement, Antonianism. And in this movement, they taught that Jesus and other early Christian figures were from the Congo Empire. She was put to death as a result of this. She was burnt at the stake. But we teach our children about another woman who was burnt at the stake. And we watch the movies and we cry, and we read the books and we cry. We all know about Joan of Arc. As black people, we all know about Joan of Arc. And we revere and celebrate Joan of Arc. This morning we celebrate Mama Yaya Vita Kimpa of Congo Dia Ntotila. She was put to death. She was burnt at the stake. But she fought against colonialism. She fought against the Eurocentric brainwashing and enslavement of the mind. We celebrate Mama Yaya Vita Kimpa of Congo. We celebrate woman warrior Ya Asantewaa, the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief. We celebrate Mama Ya Asantewaa, the commander-in-chief. No woman is known in the history of the African reactions and responses to European power better than Nana Ya Asantewaa of the Asante State, Edriso in Ghana. She was a military leader of what is known as the Ya Asantewaa War, which was the last war between the Asante and the British, and during which she became referred to by the British as the Joan of Arc of Africa. Interesting, isn't it? Although she did not enter combat herself, the troops fought in her name, and she gave orders and provided the troops with gunpowder. We celebrate the commander-in-chief, Ya Asantewaa. We celebrate the women in the Garvey movement. Amy Garvey and Amy Ashwood Garvey. We'll talk about them in a little while. We celebrate Winnie Mandela. We celebrate Mama Winnie Madikizela. On this Mother's Day, we celebrate the Mother of Africa. We celebrate Queen Nzinga. Harriet Tubman. We'll talk about them later on. We celebrate our sister in exile in Cuba, Assata Shakur. We celebrate you, my sister. Of course, we celebrate Queen Nanny of the Maroons. Inside of the Africa Forum this morning, celebrating women warriors. Women warriors. We celebrate Nyabingi priestess Muhumusa. Celebrating the woman they call the mulatto Solitude. In May 1802, while a few months pregnant, our sister, who they call the mulatto Solitude, took part in the Guadalupan uprising against the reinstatement of La Crosse, who had been appointed Captain General of Guadeloupe by Napoleon Bonaparte and expelled in October 1801 following a coup by the army's officers of color. After her arrest, Solitude was imprisoned and subsequently tortured, possibly to death. A day after giving birth, we celebrate Solitude. Solitude symbolizes all Caribbean women and mothers who fought for equality and freedom from slavery. We celebrate Solitude. Pregnant as she was, she knew that when the house was burning down, it was no use beating the tom-toms. We celebrate Empress Taitu Betul, formidable queen and empress of Ethiopia, astute diplomat, key figure in thwarting the Italian imperialist designs on Ethiopia. Later, she and her husband, Emperor Menelik II, led a huge army to battle at Adwa, where they won one of the most important victories of any African army against European colonialists. Aggression. We celebrate Empress Taitu Betul, celebrating women warriors on this Mother's Day. So Ernie wrangling in the background, Uncle Ernie in the background.
Reuniting the African family for development. African, reuniting the African family for development.
All right, so as we told you, when our house is burning down, it's no use beating the tom-toms. And usually on Mother's Day, one of the things that we do is open the phone lines from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and just take your greetings. But we're having a desperate situation in Jamaica, and we think that these times call for a different kind of response, a different kind of attitude. And one of the things we're going to be doing this morning is to talk about that situation, the situation which has driven us this morning to change the format of our Mother's Day programming to include a conversation, a discussion about our children, but also to look forward and to look ahead to the motorcade, to Children's Day, May 15, when there will be a road march, a motorcade, and a mass rally to draw attention to, but not only to draw attention to respond and to ensure that going forward we have developed the right kinds of strategies to ensure that this no longer continues, the abuse of our children. So, in the studio this morning, we have with us members of the Respect and Protect Coalition, the Respect and Protect Initiative. They're partnering with the Belmont Academy. And the founder is Mr. Ryan Simpson, who is principal of the Belmont Academy. Good morning, Mr. Ryan Simpson.
Good morning, Andrea. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much, sir. And we are on business this morning. Very business-like.
We are.
Yes. And Pastor Mario Parchment, chair of the Respect and Protect Our Children Committee. Pastor, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Andrea. How are you?
I am doing very well, and I'm happy to see you here because you could have been in church.
Well, I was in church yesterday, actually.
Yes, well, here you are today. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Pleasure.
All right. Also, we have Mr. Walde Christos, member of the Logistics Committee. Mr. Walde Christos, good morning, sir.
Greetings.
Thank you so much for coming in.
It's a plumb pleasing pleasure.
All right. And on this Mother's Day, Miss Kimona Hudson. Is that Miss Kimona?
Well, on her way.
On her way? Okay, who we have here?
Miss Melissa Stoddart.
Melissa Stoddart. Okay. All right. Welcome to the studios of IRFM, Melissa.
Thanks for having us.
And Melissa Stoddart is a Youth Empowerment Officer for Westmoreland with the Ministry of Youth and Culture. You were speaking to Muta just recently?
Yes, I was.
All right. Brilliant. And Miss Kimona Hudson, who is a co-chair of the Respect and Protect the Children Committee, will join us later in the program. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Ryan Simpson, as the founder of the Respect and Protect Coalition. First of all, let us dial back a bit to talk about what has led us to this place that you have called persons who have been working with children, working for the betterment of children in Jamaica, to now unite, to come together and to do this from one place, from a central place. What are some of the factors, the drivers that made you sat down and say, we're going to have to do this as a unit?
I think we have removed from a place where we once protect our children. I believe that the civility of any nation is hinged upon the way we protect the vulnerable groups, children and old people. And we find that in Jamaica, there have been, a very horrible situation where our children are being raped, butchered, killed callously, and there seemed to be just an overwhelming silence on the whole despicable actions that have been meted out against our children. And so...
and by silence, what do you mean?
We talk about it for a day and then it becomes a 9-day wonder. Mm-hmm. We are riled up for a couple minutes. And sometimes we find that we have become so detached from the whole business of protecting and caring for our children, to the extent that, sometimes we're not even very perturbed. Mm-hmm. We find that 14 years old are being killed and thrown into gullies with a 5-month fetus. And, people just see it as a regular occurrence. We find that there are houses being burnt down with 3 and 4 years old children. And it's just very normative in Jamaica these days. And I find that as a society we can't move forward if we're going to be behaving like that. Mm-hmm. So for nights I was unable to sleep. Right? And because of that, I have very good friends on Facebook And that's where it really started, where we decided that, are we going to just sit and watch what's happening? Are we going to just talk and make posts? Or are we going to do something about it?
And this is one of the reasons why we talk about what does it mean to bear witness. Let me go straight to Pastor, because I know that one of the language of Christianity is bearing witness,
right.
And we tend to see that in an abstract sort of way. I witness this, I see this, I vision this, or I go into church and I go into court and I testify. I'm a witness for this person. But what does it mean to bear witness?
Well, I believe that as a people, and people who are people of faith, that we must practice what we preach. And we talk about love. We talk about caring for people. And that must be demonstrated in a practical way. If we're going to protect, if we're going to say we love our children, then we have to stand up, we have to represent their cause, we have to ensure that we protect them in every way, we have to provide the kind of support that is needed for them to ensure that they grow up in a safe environment, that they grow up and is able to access all that can be accessed to ensure that they become the kind of individuals that we want them to be. We can't just sit and talk because anybody can talk, but we must be able to ensure that that talk is demonstrated to practical actions. Mm-hmm. And that's how you really bear witness as a person who is a person of faith, a person of who believes in God and who accepts that God is indeed a God of love. We have to demonstrate that love to humanity.
In other words, once you've seen this, once you've witnessed this, once you're part of what is going on, once you're in the moment, once you're in the time, and you have seen this and you have experienced it, it becomes your responsibility. It becomes your burden.
It's more than a responsibility.
Yes.
It becomes your burden. You have to do something about it. And, a lot of individuals are concerned because of what is out there about being informers. We are saying we have to set the record straight where that is concerned. It's a new message. It's not that we're going to destroy the people who are standing up for justice, who are ensuring that the cause of our children are being fought. No, we're saying these are the ones who we need to ensure that are given a voice. We can't shut them down. And so we're saying to individuals today, it's not just the informer's story has to change, and we have to look at things differently now, because we want individuals, when they see this, when they observe that child abuse is taking place, they are burdened about it. They're going to talk to the relevant authorities and ensure that those who perpetrate this crime are placed where they need to be placed.
Melissa Stoddard, for the Youth Empowerment Officer, Ministry of Youth and Culture. Well, I've been wrestling with this for many moons now, many years, whether or not it is that there is a culture of silence or is there an acceptance. In other words, we talk about the silence, but is the silence coming from a place of acceptance?
I won't necessarily say that the silence is coming from a place of acceptance. However, we have had a culture whereby persons feel as though once they have taken the action to advocate or even to speak out, whether it is to the authorities or merely speak to the person involved in the action, then immediately they are labeled. And unless we can remove that sense of labeling, again, we pass the reference to just changing the entire perception about how we treat persons who are willing to take action, because nothing is wrong with being a whistleblower. We call it informer in Jamaica, but it's a whistleblower, and in truth and in fact we should pretty much laud and empower these persons. So what? But
the question I'm asking, if you're talking about whistleblowing, you would is it a situation in Jamaica where, culturally speaking,
yes,
let us take child molestation, rape, sexual abuse of our children. Do we also have a culture? Are we coming from the wrong premise? Do we have a culture in Jamaica of not seeing anything wrong with a big man with a teenage girl? In other words, can we start there with a 25-year-old or 30 man with a 30-year-old man, or a 40-year-old man, or a 50-year-old man with a teenage girl? Because if we dial it back from there, do we have a culture in Jamaica where there's an acceptance of that? And there's an acceptance of molestation in communities where a man put a little girl upon him lap, feel her up, and people know say I do that, and it just go on. Is that you don't see anything wrong with this? Do we also have that to reckon with?
While we do have that to reckon with, I cannot accept fully that there is a acceptable or universal culture in Jamaica, because there's still persons who are adamant that what is happening is something that is definitely wrong and we need to put a stop to it. However, we still cannot dismiss the fact that there are certain facets of our society and culture that dictates that this is normal. And even so, we look at our music that is pretty much heavily in empowering people or influencing people, that there's much of this attitude and character that we see is being displayed there. So it's about, what I pretty much say as coming from a ministry's perspective is, how is it that we're going to take a more universal approach, a more dynamic approach, where we involve schools, we involve the churches, we involve not just the ministry, because in truth and in fact, if as citizens we were taking responsibility, then the Child Care and Protection Act would become the major legislation that would guide our activities, even on a culture of reporting. However, we must now seek to inform persons, because there are many communities where people don't know that it is wrong for a man to be engaged in sexual activity with a young girl who is 15.
That's what I'm 14. Saying, and that's the point I'm making. But is that when you have that, is this where we start, Mr. Walder Christus? Is this where we start? In first of all, understanding how people see this, how people view this. Is there anything wrong with a man having sex, a big man, with a teenager? I want to start there now, because I think that there's an acceptance of that in Jamaica.
Well, first, let me say is that we have grown to accept that, because when I was growing up in the 70s, I mean, that would be shunned. You know, people would look down on that, and it would be lightning and thunder in the community and that man. However, is that over time, as younger people start having children and lack of parenting skills, then you find where certain things start to creep in. And then and I also don't want to push away, or we put it under the rug, because the dancehall culture, I've been promoting it too. Give me my 2-year-old, because people don't remember that, you know, when man come up sing "Give me my 2-year-old," and that was played all over Jamaica and it got accepted. So we just a set of people says that if we don't change, we know that the music guide the people. And when you have the music teaching the youths to do that kind of thing, then over time it becomes a part of us, because it becomes a part of our psyche through the music or through whatever medium that they're using, which is reaching us. But however, though, sister, you do have some a lot of men who saying this is wrong, but those men voices are not being heard, which is what we're doing now, bringing them out and saying we're going to stand up against it.
On this Mother's Day, Mr. Ryan Simpson, I hear Melissa Stoddard talk about, the multi-agency response, which is exactly what you're doing. Yes. But these are conversations that we've been having since, me personally, 1998.
Yes.
The multi-agency response to child abuse, to incest, to rape, that kind of a thing. Are we a nation of talkers?
I think so, largely speaking, we are. And I do accept that there is an unfortunate culture and phenomenon of an acceptance for these kind of things. And it is why we must do something now. This is why this movement is called a call to action. But it is very important that we include a wide stakeholder group, right? Which is why Melissa is a part of this committee as a representative from the Ministry of Youth and Culture. We have the OCR, the Office of Children Registry, the CDA, the police, the Women's Center. We have a host of high schools, and the SDA Church is represented, the Pentecostal Church is represented. So it is important for us to come together and have this conversation, right, as we move forward in protecting and caring for our children. Andrea, the time has come. And even though I do accept that we are a people of talking, we are going to be taking action. We have started the movement on the 15th of May.
Hold that, because we're going to come back and pick it up right there. Taking action, doing something, understanding what it means to bear witness.
I'm Asada Shakur. The first time I heard a tape of one of Mamiya's radio broadcasts, it was the first time I fully understood why the United States government was so intent on putting him to death. I make a special appeal to you, sisters and brothers, to fight tooth and nail to save Mamiya's life and to free him from the grips of his oppressors. As you honor our forefathers and foremothers, I urge you to honor our living heroes. When you honor the names of Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and Malcolm X, I urge you to honor the names of Geronimo, Jijaga, Sundiata Acoli, Mutulu Shakur, and Mumia Abu Jamal. I urge you not to forget and not to betray our living heroes. If we ignore their struggle, we are ignoring our own. If we betray our living history, then we are betraying ourselves. We could not save Malcolm X, but we can save Mamiya. We can save him, and we must save him. Because we love our brother, and we need our brother to help us fight for freedom. Free Mamiya Abu Jamal. Free all political prisoners. Let us carry on our tradition to freedom.
All right, sometimes they come forward. And Mamiya came forward. Didn't intend to, but Mamiya came forward, and so to Asata Shakur. So happy Mother's Day to our sister Asata Shakur, who is in exile in Cuba, now being placed on the top 10 most wanted persons in the world, that CIA FBI list. Our sister Asata Shakur, just for being black. Simple. And being placed there at a time when the President of the United States is black. All right, you're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and we have a lot to do, a lot of house cleaning to do. I have to pause here. Let me just say that to my very special guest in the studio, just before my mother goes off to church, to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Mrs. Doris Williams, in Hopewell, Marlborough, and St. Mary. Morning to you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day. Coming to you from all of us, all of your children, from Elaine and Larry in the UK. And we have them here. We have the greetings here. From Sonia, Erica, Diane, and of course from your son Steve, Wayne, in the US. From all of your grandchildren, and we're going to name them out, but not right now. So happy Mother's Day coming to you also from your husband, who I know is right next to you, Papa, Doral Williams, and they're both heading out to church right now. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers at the United Pentecostal Church in Highgate in St. Mary. Happy Mother's Day to Sister Mitchell, wife of Pastor Mitchell. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Gonna play a special one for you later, Mama, but we know you have to go to church. Somebody will tell you. So have a good day in church today. We're talking about our children, which I know is also one of the issues that's a burning issue for my own mother. No, she's listening right now. We talk about this all the time. What's happening with our young children? One of the lessons that my mother taught me was that as a woman, as a member of a community, you're responsible for the family, not just in the immediate surroundings, but for the family and the community. And so in some way, we are all connected. So one of the things she taught us at a very, very early age was how to share and how to work with community members. And I'm quite sure that you are thinking this right now, that so much has changed since those days when all the children of a community belonged to all the mothers of a community and all the fathers of a community. In true African way, you taught us that it really does take a village to raise a child. All right, so have a good day today to my mother, Mrs. Doris Williams, on this very, very special day. One of the best that there ever was and is. Sample, you know. Seriously. Happy Mother's Day to you. If I can think of a lesson that my mother taught me, that I was talking to my sister, my older sister, yesterday, and she's in England. We were on the phone, and we were talking about whose voice is in our head, and whether it's our father's voice or our mother's voice, and we were able to say what our father's voice is saying, because my father's voice in my head is, I am black and I'm proud. That's my father's voice in my head. And my mother's voice is community. My mother's voice is be your own self. My mother's voice is you can do it because you are. My mother's own voice is do your own thing. Be you. And I think that those are some great lessons. My mother's voice is do not be jealous of anyone. Don't grudge nobody for nothing. Be you. Do your own thing. Yeah, man. Seriously. True. Mr. Ray Simpson, we could go on and go on.
Yes, I'm hearing my mother's voice in my head.
What is your mother's voice?
And I've learned not to disobey her. So I want to say Happy Mother's Day to Jacqueline McLean. And I also want to say Happy Mother's Day to my wife, Norda Virgo Simpson. They're wonderful parents.
Happy Mother's Day to you both. Anybody hearing any voices that you want to deal with it quick before we go on to the...
Yes, but I just want to do one little thing first.
Yes.
I want to wish each member of the RPC who is a mother a very happy Mother's Day today. I just want to name a few persons. Miss Vernalyn Ball, Miss Anderson, Mrs. Patterson, Miss Jacqueline Brown, Mrs. Drummond, and Mrs. Alvita Shera Sunlin. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for giving of yourself and your time.
It is a special day today, Mother's Day. We celebrate Mother's Day and observe Mother's Day in Jamaica even more than Father's Day, and maybe that is also a reflection of where we are as a society, that so much emphasis is placed on Mother's Day and just a teeny bit on Father's Day. So we might have to change that paradigm to Melissa, even as we go forward talking about parenting, as Walter Christus was saying. But whose voice is in your head now, Mel?
And I just want to, wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day, specifically to those who are really good mothers. And for those who we know you are trying, we want to encourage you and just to encourage the community. Let us just seek to strengthen each other as we move along as women and as community. And fathers, let us assist our mothers and women to become better mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
All right, there you go. All right, Pastor?
Yes, of course my mother's voice is in my head.
Yes.
I had one of those mothers who, even as an adult, she still enforced the rule. And you had to listen to what she is saying. Very happy for the kind of, mother that I had growing up. And I just want to say a special Mother's Day greeting to her, Miss Bernice Rowe. Also, special Mother's Day greetings to my wife, Jashina Parchment, and the members, all the mothers from the Waterworks District of Seventh-day Adventist Churches. I want to say special Mother's Day greeting to them this morning.
Good mothers make a big difference. Mothers are the backbone.
Backbone, that's right.
Of each society. All right. So you were telling us just before we went, you didn't get a chance, Mr. Walter Christus, because you were distracted. But go ahead, yes.
Yes. Well, my mother, what I remember is, she and Miss Clara had an argument. And I passed Miss Clara and I tell her morning. And Miss Clara just called over my mother was and said, Miss Carol, the boy no called to me and she said, kill him with lick. Yeah, because she said, how dare you? How dare you, because me and Miss Clara no talk, you not talking to her, what wrong with you? So that is what I used to, is where the family, as you said, the village, just want to really recognize the ladies who have, have my children. We have children together. Thank you for being great mothers.
All right. So let us go now to even while we acknowledge great mothers, to look at what's happening in Jamaica with our children and what's going to be happening on May 15. May 15, of course, Ryan, as you were telling us just now, National Children's Day. So this is an important day. In any case, on the calendar, when we went to the break just earlier, you were saying that May 15 is a call to action.
Yes, a call to action for every well-thinking Jamaican and the persons who don't think so well. We're asking you to come as well because we want to help you in the thinking process. So the 15th will be a day where we will gather in a big way. But the 15th is not just the day because we have activities planned for the entire year. Right? So let me just say that. Yes. But on the 15th, we will have motorcades from 4 major locations in Westmoreland. Darliston Square, we're asking all the persons in Darliston, if you don't believe in child abuse, to come out. If you have a vehicle, come and join the motorcade. We're having a motorcade from White House Square. All the people in White House and surrounding areas, you don't believe in child abuse, come out and join us. We're having a motorcade from Grange Hill Square, and we're asking the Grange Hill people to come out and show that you do not support this. We're having a motorcade from the Negril Roundabout, and we're asking every single person who can make it to make it on that day. So we will start at 10 a.m. at those locations that I mentioned. And then we will come into Savlamar, and we will have a march with the Tivoli Marching Band and the Combined Cadet Corps from Dunbar's River, from the Women's Center, and from Landilo Cultural Center, as well as downtown Savlamar, where we will now march into Independence Park. We will converge on Independence Park. We will take over Independence Park on that day. So that will start at 12 noon. Women's Center, Landilo Cultural Center, downtown Savlamar, and those are the.
Well, let us go over this because it's a very active. Well, it's really a call to action.
Yes.
And so that you have the motorcades coming from different places, from White House Square, Grange Hill Square, and Negril. Where else? Sheffield, Darliston. So motorcades and what time? This is in the morning?
We will start at 10 at each of those locations.
And the motorcades are leaving all these different areas at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Wow, that's going to take some serious coordination. I can just imagine, but it sounds good. I know you have people in place to coordinate that. Yeah. And then you're saying all those, there are 3 or 4 of them?
Yes, 4.
They're going to meet where?
They're going to meet at, White House will meet at Dunbar's River.
Right.
From Negril, they will meet at
the
Women's Center. From Grange Hill, they will meet at Landilo Cultural Center.
Right.
And we will have one coming from downtown Savlamar as well.
Right.
Darliston will also meet at Dunbar's River.
And then from these different areas, they're moving out again?
They're moving out again from these areas into Independence Park.
Independence Park.
Right.
Yes.
We're asking you to toot your horns, to turn on your headlamp, make some noise. Join us en route to the locations that we just mentioned, and as well as join us at Independence Park.
And I know that, as I said before, it's a multi-agency response, a multi-agency approach to ending child abuse against our children. The Ministry of Youth actively involved in this. Tell me, Melissa, from what perspective the ministry's involvement in the process?
Firstly, the ministry, as a ministry, we do have responsibility. It says youth, but a part of our demography is also adolescents, and we're very much catering to our children just the same. We are more involved from an empowerment perspective, so we seek to empower communities and to ensure that the aspect of having a dynamic system whereby we have different stakeholders on board. So we want to ensure that we have all stakeholders on board who are in the charge to ensure that our children are respected and protected. Currently in Westmoreland, we have also taken on a week of activity to also promote the initiative for the Respect and Protect our Children Committee. And we realize that we're now embarking on mentorship program that will take us beyond the 15th, that will seek to create a more holistic process. So we're not just starting now just to create sirens. We intend to be speaking out for a very, very long time. And as such, we're hoping that the community and other stakeholders who are not yet on board will see the need to join in this action so we can actually ensure that we are there in protecting and respecting our children.
And Pastor, the church is heavily involved in this also, as we talk about a multi-agency approach, which I must congratulate you on, Rayan, for pulling the agencies together, because we've talked about this and talked about this and talked about this, and we've seen it on paper. But in terms of operationalizing what we have been talking about, I can safely say that this is the first time that I'm seeing it.
Thank you. We're humble.
At this level.
We're humble. And I just have to thank the persons for responding to the call. Because even whilst we were doing this, we found that there were some persons who were talking as well, and when they were invited, they were hesitant. Right?
Yes, I understand that.
We know the talk, we know that persons just like to talk, but I am grateful for the group of people that we're working with.
And I must say, on behalf of IRFM, that we're very, very happy to be part of the coalition. Elise Kelly, I'm going to talk about that later, and I'm sure you'll be talking to her later on in the week also. Totally committed to this process. But this is a conversation that we've been having here at IRFM ourselves, and doing what we can do so that when we heard that this coalition was coming together, for us it was a match made in heaven, really. This is what we were meant to do.
Well, let me correct you, Andrea, because this is not just IRFM being a part of. This is a partnership with IRFM.
It totally is. Yes.
And I have to say this publicly because we are so grateful, we are so thankful, we are so appreciative of the way IRFM, how you've responded to this call, how you've embraced it, the time and the energy and resources that you have pumped into this. You show that you are number one in Jamaica. And this is not just rhetoric. You show that you're number one in Jamaica. You show an understanding of the corporate social responsibility that some persons who claim to be involved in religious and spiritual undertaking have not yet demonstrated. And we are grateful to IRFM for that.
Thank you so much, Rayan. Pastor, the church is a part of this. What do you want to see happen out with this coalition? I know that the motorcade is going to happen. We hear about the plans for the future. But speaking from a religious perspective, where do you want to see this go? How do you want to see us go?
All right. The church is very heavily involved, and rightly so. Because as an organization, and can I say that when you look at the demography of this country, there are so many churches that are scattered all over the place. And if we want to make some lasting impressions and change, then we have to get to where the people are. And most of these people are in churches. And so we're going to be ensuring that as a church, and from this group perspective, we recognize that there's a serious parenting issue in our country, which is resulting in much of the child abuse situations that we're seeing. And we want to see that the whole area of parenting is strengthened. And this is one area that the church can get involved in, because as a church, we can, working in collaboration with the RPC, ensure that in these areas we provide a venue for these parenting seminars in the community. So RPC can come in and through these different areas ensure that they reach the people where they are, because it's going to be a challenge to pull people to where we want them, but if we meet the people where they are, we can make great impact. And so the parenting seminars, doing the intervention in the communities where the churches are operating is going to create the kind of effect that we want.
Is the coalition in any way, even after the event and even after the material manifestation point, which is the 15th of May in Savannah Lamar, looking ahead to because I hear parenting so much to values and attitudes and where we are with that, because for me, I don't know, we talk about the music, but that is a symptom of a lack of values. So what's the conversation regarding that?
We recognize that there is a serious breakdown of values in our society. And there was a time when there was a major initiative, the Values and Attitudes Initiative, and that just went. And I believe that we need to bring something like that back. And as a coalition, as a group, RPC, this is where we're going to focus much of our attention after the 15th, because these are the areas that are creating the problems we're having today. If we strengthen the home, which is a basic unit of society, if we strengthen families, if we strengthen parenting, because when we look at what's happening with in the parenting, there are many children who are having children who have not even the slightest idea of what it is to be good parents. And so their parents never knew. They don't know. We have to deal with these issues. And so we have to empower these parents, give them the skills, give them some tools that they can use to be better, to be able to relate to their children. And once we strengthen the family, we're going to see that society is going to be strengthened. The values are going to be strengthened because we're empowering, we're going to the root of the issue, not skirting around, not dealing with the symptoms, but we're dealing with the problem itself.
Because at the end of the day, it is all connected.
That's right.
I mean, what's happening in the education sector, what's happening in the church, what's happening, in the community, in the social sectors, what's happening in the social institutions, or what are not the social institutions are performing as the way they're supposed to be performing. Yep. For me, it is every bit of it is connected, and so that if we do not look at it as this kind of a fractal, if we don't look at it as this kind of a complex situation, we will never ever be able to even design an approach to it.
That's right. Yeah. When you look at the individuals who would have grown into stable family environment, and you see the outcome versus those who are coming from a different situation, we see that we need to strengthen families.
How do you strengthen families? Walden?
Well, one of the things, I've been in community development since 1988 and in Bluefields. And one of the things that we have been doing is parenting from we start in the basic schools. And now that we have a high school in the high schools, I mean, we bring in experts and we have talks, we share information, and what we're seeing is better parenting happening. The next thing that we decided to do was just to put up billboard around the community speaking to abuse and putting up the numbers that they should call if they identify any abuse. And as a result of that is that those who are even pedophilia running now, because they realize that we are looking out. I mean, we are looking out because a high school is in our community. We find where girls would leave to go to school and don't end up in school but end up at a man's house. The minute we see that, we're calling the school, we're calling around, and we're getting people to say do something, and we're letting people know that if you allow a young girl to come to your house, we can be charged. You can, so people are now getting more aware, and with that we're seeing improvement in behavior.
Right, because we are where we are, Ryan and Melissa, not in a moment, but this is something that is almost entrenched now, because this has been happening. The breakdown has been happening over a period of years. It's a process, and so that to pull back at that, we have to do what Walde is saying. That we have to. It's from a family perspective, the unit, the family, the community perspective. That's where it has to start.
It has to. And, each of us has to play our role, because we find that a lot of times what's happening in the society that is breaking down the social fabric of the society is basically because we have been so silent. And so the community, we have to return to a place where the community is responsible for the raising of children. And we have to return to a place where we teach people about identity. And so you're a Simpson and you must act like a Simpson, and you must do like a Simpson, and you must speak like a Simpson. And when you leave this house, you wear the name, and this brand is not just your own. And so we have to return to that place where people become involved and attached to this business of identity.
And so that even within that identity is a knowledge of who you are.
Absolutely.
And the knowledge of who we are. This is also another problem we have in terms of who we are, even as Africans.
Yes.
And I talk about this even in our own school systems, where every single race in what is being described in Jamaica as a multicultural society, for God knows why, I don't know, but where every single race in our kindergarten textbooks is identified as who they are racially, apart from the African Jamaican child, not identified in her or his textbook as an African Jamaican. So the Chinese and Jamaican in their textbook is identified as such. The Indian Jamaican is identified as such, but the African Jamaican is just Jamaican. And what does it mean to be Jamaican without an identity, without a continent
and a
that everybody else have, without a place to anchor yourself on? What does it mean to be Jamaican? You know, that is a question, because the Chinese know that, you know, I'm Jamaican, but I'm also Chinese, so I look there so. Yeah. And the Indian knows that. And I think, and this is why I'm saying this is a multidimensional problem that comes from many different places. And if we are to go right to the center of it, we must talk about identity, Pastor, even as we welcome to the studio Miss Kimona Hudson, is the co-chair of the Respect and Protect the Children Committee. Kimona, thanks for coming in. I understand that you had car problems. That was you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Everything okay now?
Yes, everything is good. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if you want to jump in here, though. I mean, you've been listening on the way?
Yes, I was.
Right.
Well, firstly, let me say good morning to your listeners and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in Jamaica. This initiative, when it started on Facebook, the discussion, myself and Mr. Simpson and some other persons, I took it personal. I'm not a mother as yet, but of course I plan to be. And so I am taking a more proactive approach in trying to fix the issue before even my children get here. So this morning I was reflecting on it, and I feel so positive and so motivated because of the enthusiasm that I see from not just the committee, but the people in Westmoreland. Everywhere I go in Westmoreland, I hear about it. Mm-hmm. And so even the children, I hear the children from the early childhood school beside me talking about it. And so even children are becoming aware that they are being abused. And I mean, when it gets to that level, that children now are looking at adults who are supposed to be protecting them and thinking that, you know, I am afraid of these people because it's a possibility that they can abuse me. It sends a message that as a country we must wake up, right? We might be a little bit late in responding, but we have to do something now. And so I am really happy for this opportunity to share with, and I see this initiative going far out of Westmoreland, even outside.
It's already out of Westmoreland, by the way.
Yes,
so out of Westmoreland. It's a national initiative. Yes.
In terms of action, you know, people take, because I was listening earlier and I heard Mr. Simpson say, you know, persons were there talking with us in the discussion, and you know, when we call upon them now to act, you know, they're a little bit apprehensive and so forth. So in terms of action, I really would want to see Jamaica, the country, take it on like the people of Westmoreland, because we are very passionate about it.
It is a call to action, and this is what makes a difference for me, that here we have been talking, social media activists are you know, some of the most serious activists, but it's easy. Social media, you tweet out 140 characters, or Facebook, you just post a picture and so on, and then you feel as if you have done something. But one of the dangers of social media is that activism will stay right there in the cloud, in the virtual world, if we don't follow that up now with action. So let's move it from the virtual space into the real space, and it is a call to action. Now, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock, you're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and on this Mother's Day, doing things a little bit different. And the reason for that is that we feel that our house is burning down. And there's an ancient African proverb which says, when your house is burning down, it's no use beating the tom-toms. And for me this morning, beating the tom-toms is just first to open the phone lines and send greetings to each other when our houses are on fire. And so we're talking this morning about this fire that we need to put out, the fire of child abuse, of child molestation, of incest, of rape, of the killing and murdering and maiming of our children. It's a fire that we need to put out. The process started and it continues. Here is a high point. On May 15, which is National Children's Day, we're gathering in Savannah Lamar, we're gathering in Westmoreland to bring more awareness to the issue, but also to say I am dedicating and committing myself to the process of change. When we get to SAV now, what happens? Let's talk about the event itself, since time is going so fast and we didn't even realize. All right, so tell Independence Park now, what is going to happen in Independence Park?
At 1 p.m., we will have no other than the Minister of Youth and Culture, the Honorable Lisa Anna, and she will be addressing the public. You know, she will give us the statistics. She will tell us the vision, the mission of the ministry, and what is hoped to be achieved this year. So we will have that, and we will have other persons bringing greeting. We want to hear from the police, because we really want to know what the police is doing about this, you know. And we want to understand from the police that when we make a report, it is dealt with in a confidential manner.
We want to hear from the CDA on the very same point.
Yes, but I think the minister's presentation
will include that, the CDA.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to interrupt with this again, but in 2000 or thereabout, we call the CDA to partner on one of these, where we'd go into the communities, take the big screen TV like JIS used to do back in the day, and do the community intervention. And the CDA and Sisoka told us, with not even a blink, that they had no interest in that was not their mandate. And I spent lots of time cussing in this space about it. But can you imagine that?
Yes.
So to me, so many of our institutions and agencies have already failed.
Yes.
That either we just scrape out everybody out of that and bring in some new blood and some new objectivity and so on, or we look critically at ourselves to say what are we fooling ourselves about? You understand what I'm saying, Rayon?
Absolutely.
Are we fooling ourselves, and at what point?
Absolutely. I've already said to you that when we were inviting persons, we were strangely surprised.
I was not shocked.
So, right. So, I mean, those things don't perturb us, you know, because as RPC, we are committed to this. Luckily, Andrea, you can now call on RPC, because, you see, we are so committed about this thing that we are prepared to go in our own pockets to fund this, because it is so important to us. So with respect to all those organizations, I'm not even in the business of calling names, but however they can support, we will accept the support. But we know that there are gaps.
So you expect in SAV now for the minister to lay out the way forward for the ministry.
Yes.
And then there will be other speakers like the police.
Yes, so we will have the police, we will have the mayor, we will have the custos. They will bring greeting. We also want to hear from the political directorate. So Mr. Dwayne Vaz has already committed his time to be there. And so we will hear from these people. We will have presentations and booths from the Ministry of Youth, for example, OCR, and some others will be there. But importantly, we have some people who we consider to be children ambassador. I could call him the Honorable Tony Rebel. I mean, just for the song, Mind What You Teach a Little Children. Queen Africa will be there. We will have Minister Joseph Scott, who is just an outstanding minister. And, you know, he has spent a lot of his time and career really singing about the development of our children. We will have Stepper, and I mean, you would have seen and heard about Stepper when the President of the United States was here, and a host of other artists. One of the things that we are very proud of is that we will, on the 15th, have a mass choir of the schools in Westmoreland.
Wow, that sounds good,
Yes. And we had our first rehearsal last week.
How many people in that mass choir?
We're going to have to size down, because last week we had about 200 persons turning out for rehearsal.
Size it up, man. That's quite all right. Sounds good.
I don't know if we'll
as long as the stage can hold it.
because Andrea, you and I know what happened with that stage some time ago. We won't rehash it.
No.
Right? But I am happy that the parents and the schools have responded to the call. I must say though, Andrea, and I know that I might even petrify some of my committee members, but I am disappointed with the response from some of the churches and from some of the media houses. Again, we have been talking, we have even been preaching, and we are recycling some messages over the years, and when we have time for action, there are some persons who are not yet willing to take action. And I have to question myself about this. How can one not be willing to take action against the murder and the butchering of our children? That amazes me.
I think what you have, Rayon, and I understand your disappointment, is a critical mass. And I think we'll move with a critical mass. There are others who will come.
Yes, but so I'm not perturbed.
In the wagonist kind of way.
Yes, I'm not perturbed by it, Andrea. But, I think that silence on these matters, are but a fodder for the abusers. And so we must make Jamaica know what's happening. Right?
Because we have to look at abuse in the church, do you know? Yes. We have to look at child molestation in the church. We have to look at rape and incest and so on in the church also. Nobody is immune. No institution is immune. No community is immune from this scourge against our children.
Yes. And I do believe that neglect is one of the major forms of child abuse. And so when you neglect to take action, when you neglect to participate and contribute towards these kind of things, I would want to submit that that's child abuse. So we are also calling on corporate Jamaica to come forward and let your voices be heard. Let us know where you are at as far as this whole mission is concerned. We need to hear from you.
I agree. Yes, Pastor.
I understand the concern that Rayon has. But as was mentioned earlier, there seemed to be a culture. And because of the culture, there are several individuals who just want to see where this is going. We've had several initiatives over the years in different organizations who would have come forward and launched their initiative, and just like the values and attitudes, it's gone. There are folks who want to ensure that this is something that is lasting.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about that is that how does it last, and how do you ensure that it is lasting without your own participation?
I agree.
That's the thing,
But it's the people like us who are committed to the cause, who are going to ensure that this thing is lasting, because we're going to stay by it. We're going to get it off the ground. We're going to stick with it, and others will come.
And that is why I asked you at the beginning, what does it mean to bear witness? Because the idea of bearing witness says that once you are there, once you live in the time, once you live in the period, once you are experiencing it, or somebody around you is experiencing it, and you know of it, it is now your responsibility to do.
And I agree.
Yes.
I agree. It's our responsibility.
Yeah.
We have to also bear in mind, people accept things at different stages, and so we're on it right now. And I'm sure some people are going to come on.
Totally.
And it's going to get.
Yes, and I think Rayon is on the very same page with you. But it's also very good to say where we are at any given point. And I think it's good that you're saying, Rayon, that at this point the response of a church generally is a little bit below what you'd expect, and also the response of the media.
Absolutely.
Below what
Absolutely. How can we have a situation in Jamaica where already since the year started we have 30 of our children in this country killed, and the church has not come forward and make a bold statement? And when you have persons who are now doing what the church should have been doing in the first place, you are skeptical about that, and you are not coming forward. How can we have a situation where our children are being raped by adult men and are being buggered, and done men are telling the mothers to take their children to them, for initiation, and men in the community are giving 12 and 13 years old boys gun to bust and weed for bun, and girls for broke them ducks, and we are just standing and looking, right? And when we say we give up our time, all of us are working people. Let me just say that. Each of us is here. We work. We have given up our time and our energy and we are saying we're going to be doing something about it. We are saving you time, right? All you have to do is come on board, and all you can do is to sit and say, let us wait and see. I am saying that this is now the time for us to get up and get out and to act, and there's no other time but now.
I agree with you, Ryan. It's a call to action. We're going to wrap up the discussion on this Mother's Day. Once again, it's a call to action on May 15, which is National Children Day. We will be there broadcasting live, IRI FM, on the route as much as we can. You have us all over the place, Ryan. I don't know if we can be on every single motorcade, but we'll try. And then, of course, the event in Independence Park. Yes. Elise Kelly will be moderating that in the first segment, and then for the stage show, I know DJ Amber is there, and Isis is there, and is Empress there, but I know there are some other persons who are there. But the call to action is to come to SAV in the first place.
Yes.
And then what? And then
after SAV, we have already said we will be establishing in partnership with the Source in Savlamar, where we'll be setting up a parent place. The parent place will seek to empower, engage, train parents in parenting techniques. We will also engage the community on an individual basis, where we will go in and we will take them to us in terms of the whole business of the Child Care Act, for example. You know, many persons don't even know that there's such an act, right? In terms of how do we treat with children? What is the age of consent, and should we agitate to have the age of consent change? How is it that we treat with children who are being abused? How is it that we support schools and churches that are making a difference in terms of the way we treat with our children? And so it is important that we have this conversation going beyond the 15th. And this is the mainstay of it will be the parent place.
All right. It sounds really good. We are totally committed here at IRFM to the process, and we'll be rolling out in a serious way in SAV on the 15th of May. All right, we're just 9 minutes to go, and Lewis Hamilton just making it to number one. He was 5 all along in the Spanish Grand Prix. Just so that you know, he's now leading the pack, and we have a cash pot coming up at 8:30. I'll just get the last minute from everybody here. All right, I'll start with Kimona, because you had a late start. Yes. Okay. I would like to just reiterate a point that all of us have made before, but just in a different way, to say that at the institution that I manage, which is Culloden Vocational Training Center in White House, Westmoreland, we treat with adult learners. And sometimes when the trainees are, acting up and they're not focusing on all of that, well, I'm not a trained counselor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist for that matter, but when they come to me and I question them with my little knowledge, most times it stems from things that happen when they were children. Child abuse. They were abused as children. And so we must, as a country and as a community, understand the impact of child abuse on people. When they grow up, they don't grow out, or they don't grow out of child abuse, right? It sometimes, even as adults, it gets worse. And that is why the public education is so important. Very important. Yes. So I'm reiterating my committee plight for the corporate community especially, and the churches. Well, you mentioned those before. They must come on board, because all of us, even if we're not parents, we're uncles, we're aunties, we're grandparents, and so if the family is not whole, it affects us too, right? So we must look at it from that perspective. Belisa?
Yes, so if we're to look to any system of sustainability in Jamaica, we must seek not just to protect our children now, but also we keep saying that the children are the future. We really need to realize that not only are they the future, but they are the present. It's interesting you said that, Melissa. I was saying to my sister the other day, when I recognize it, because we've been saying this for ages, right? Yes, that the children are the future. When I recognized what that meant, and I remember exactly where I was,
Because I hear it all the time. I was saying, what do you really mean when I say the children are the future? That was
yes.
And somebody explained it to me. I think it was my mother, and I said, what does it really mean when I say the children are the future? And when I understood it, I was like, oh, goodness gracious me. I have a role to play somewhere. So you're right. So even for the children to understand, we're saying it, but even for the children to understand what that means, I think is important. It makes a difference. It did for me, actually.
Very much so. So we're seeking not just to protect, not just to secure a future for them, but also to protect them here and now, so that future can be becoming of what we want to see. I want to just implore all Jamaicans, wherever you are, once you're listening at this moment, to realize how important it is for each person to take it as a personal responsibility to preserve, to advocate, to promote the rights of our children. And we recommended that institutions, private, corporate Jamaica, take the responsibility to empower persons. There are so many persons who are not aware that we even have a Child Care and Protection Act. And we're saying that stakeholders come on board. Let us go into communities and do the interventions, because our children are crying out for help. But there's a seal on the lids of their lips, and we need to ensure that we remove those seals.
And create the space.
Let us create an environment that is conducive for children to enjoy a future.
Yes. Walde?
Yes, well, for me, it's simple. It's 400 years and we never accept it and we break it, which is slavery. So me always say is that, the work, the action start, and we're going to break it. And it may not happen tomorrow, but we're not going to stop. And we're going to use every method in order to break it down. So we just want to say to the abusers, you better make sure, you get out of that and get into taking care. Because we're coming after you. Yes, I just want you to know that.
And we understand it's a long-term haul. We also understand that you're everywhere when you talk about abusers, in every strata of society, every single strata, every single level of society. I think that we need to stress that. Just go ahead, Pastor.
All right. Let me quickly say that, as a part of the church, representing the church also, that the Seventh Adventist Church is very much on board with this initiative.
Yes.
That's why you're here today, because that's why you're here at church. I see.
And we're not just talking, but we're supporting in a very tangible way.
Yes.
Also, I must say that we have a number of individuals who have been really giving us the support that we need, and I think it's favorable. Giving us the support that we need, and I think it's favorable for us to just share some of them really quickly with you. Of course, we want to thank you, IRFM. We also want to thank Belmont Academy, Sandals White House, Royal Pharmacy, Hammond's Pastry, N&M Hamati and Company. We have Tencent Events, Access Financing, Heritage Pharmacy, Courts, West Jamaica Conference, Salvation Army, the Waterworks District of Seventh Adventist Churches and the Seventh Adventist Churches in Westmoreland, Life Call Ambulance Limited, Quality Signs. We have, Peak Bottling Spike Limited. We have Rayon Hotel, Wholesale Seafood, Icon, DNY Supermarket, Credit Union, NCB, Possession Bookstore, Computers and Beyond, and we have Scotiabank. All of these entities and some others that are coming on.
Culloden Vocational Training Center, Training Welfare Program.
They're on board. And we're just saying thanks to these individuals. And of course, we thanks to Raj Stores for being on board. And I want to say something really quickly, because I'm part of another capacity in which I function, has to do with promoting family and marriage and those kind of stuff. We have some real issues in this country. And, a lot of people are going into marriages, relationships without counseling. We're going to have to empower people. Knowledge is power. And the minute we start dealing with providing people the right information to set the foundation for family development and for family establishment, we're going to see that our children are going to be in a better environment, and we're going to stem and deal with the issues from where they're supposed to be dealt with.
And I just like to add my own 2 pence to that, to say that we also have an identity crisis in Jamaica. And it might sound simple, but this is part and parcel of why we seem not to have the kind of values that we need to have, because we're not tapping into any kind of values. China has a whole lot of values on a whole lot of things, and we see that even with China in Jamaica. that the values are transported to Jamaica. Whose values are we reflecting? Are we reflecting the values of Ludacris and Kanye West and Kim Kardashian? Because this is what's coming to us from TV. Right. Or are we reflecting the values of a true African-centered person? And how do we get that into not just the curriculum, but into the homes? What does it mean to be African? We have an identity crisis. We're going to be in SAV on the 15th, and we'll see you there again. But we hear you across RFM, I'm sure, before the 15th on this. Thank you so much.
Pleasure has been.
Thank you. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. Remember now, it's a call to action. A call to action, May 15, 2015, to end child abuse in Jamaica. Motorcades, marching bands beginning at 10 a.m. Then we're asking you to turn on your headlamps, toot your horns on that day in solidarity with those who are fighting against child abuse. The Mass Sensitization Forum is in Independence Park in Savannah, Lamar, with the Minister, Lisa Hanna, Minister of Youth and Culture. This will be moderated by IRFM's own Elise Kelly. Then later on in the afternoon at 2 o'clock or thereabouts, there will be a stage show with Tony Rebel, Queen Africa, Judith Gale, Joseph Scott, Jody and Pantry, D-Med Stepper, Aisha Bell, Westmoreland Mass School Choir.
Running African, reuniting the African family for development.
Once again to the sound of Ernest Ranglin from the album Ultimate Wrangling Roots. The backdrop to our Mother's Day programming this morning. We want to welcome on board our sponsor, Adwa Nutrition for Life Health Food Store, located at shop number 42 City Center Mall and shop number 2 Westgate Plaza, Montego Bay. Adwa Nutrition for Life. Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Thank you so much, Adwa, for coming on board, sponsoring the bottom line. Lots happening on this Mother's Day. While we're greetings and giving gifts to mothers to show our appreciation, we are in Child Month, and we are cognizant of the fact that too many mothers are grieving this morning for the loss of their children to crime and violence. So we want to reach out to those mothers who mourn and will not be comforted because you've lost your child in the most vicious, violent, and heinous way. We send our condolences to you. We share in your pain, even as we stand in solidarity with you to nurture and protect our children. We want to reach out to you, mother, because you've lost your child to the wave of crime that is sweeping over Jamaica. We want to reach out to you, mother, because you've lost your child who is still alive, but who's been viciously and violently raped in the heinous nature that we're seeing now in Jamaica. And it seems hopeless to you. We want to reach out to you and to say that we feel your pain and we grieve with you. We mourn with you and we understand why you will not be comforted, because no one can understand the loss of a child. So we want to reach out to the mothers this morning on this Mother's Day, May 10, 2015, who are mourning. for the loss of a child. We want to reach out to the mothers who are mourning for the loss of not just a child, but of a grandchild who might have been still a fetus. We want to reach out to you. We want to also remember the mothers in Nigeria who lost their girls to kidnapping by Boko Haram from Chibok and anywhere else. We want to reach out to those mothers. My sister Nzinga Asata, in her book The Women in the Garvey Movement, has written a poignant piece of poetry. It is called The Incomparable Black Woman. She says, is there any other race of people on this planet who can expect such leadership, dedication and strength from their women? Black people have much to thank black women for. Black women, the strong, confident ones, the quite unassuming ones, the women who are always there for the race, the women who are always there working hard, giving their all, being mother and sometimes father, being everything to our community. The black woman, mother of creation, strong, oh so strong black woman. What is so very sad is that many black men fear her strength, fear her strong spirit, and fail to love, honor, and protect her. The black woman, mother, daughter, wife, sister, aunt, grandmother, black woman, mother of all creation, black woman, the original guardian angel. Thank you, my sister Nzinga Asata, for that poem. We're Africans not because we were born in Africa. We're Africans because Africa was born in us. Look around and behold us in your greatness. Greatness is an African possibility. You can make it yours. Just 5 minutes away from our local and international headlines and IRI FM's Sunday Sports Diary. I want to say happy Mother's Day to the women of IRI FM. To the mothers of IRI FM, Elise Kelly, Kishima Francis, Samantha Mitu, Nikita Sterling, happy Mother's Day, Lana Gay Green, Patrice Walters, Primrose Oliver, Lileen Cole Gordon, Alicia Edwards, Simone Brown Keys, happy Mother's Day to you, to the mothers of IRI FM. Karen Francis Edwards, Vivine Stewart, Simone Williams, Debian Dewar, Barbara Lindsay Evans, Danique Johnson, Shanna Evans, Claudine Clark, Sophia Green, Georgette Blake, Andrea Francis, happy Mother's Day to you. Talia Holding, Pat Clark, Amber Crowd, Jacqueline Johnson, Carol Campbell, Shireen Mace, happy Mother's Day to you, to the mothers of IRI FM. June Johnson, Beverly Davis, Corrine Stewart, Ashika Headley, Jennifer Lawson, Stacey Ann Blair, to the mothers of IRI FM. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day also to the mothers of Running African. You are many. Happy Mother's Day to Queen Mother Marian Samad. Happy Mother's Day to Nana Erna Broadba. Happy Mother's Day to Nana Eseboa, Sister Minnie. Happy Mother's Day to Sister P. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to my sister Gloria Walters. Happy Mother's Day to Barbara Blake Hannah. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to Nana Akusua. Happy Mother's Day to you, Dr. Sinclair. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers of Running African. Happy Mother's Day to Yvonne Hope. Yvonne, I know that there is a brunch today at Ashanti Oasis restaurant. I do not have the information, but I know that there's a Mother's Day brunch today at Ashanti Oasis restaurant. Happy Mother's Day to Marlene, the wife of Pafai. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to the mother of Natalie Campbell. Happy Mother's Day to your mom, Nat. News coming up in a minute. After news, it will be time for IRIA FM's Sunday Sports Diary. Happy Mother's Day to all the Rastafarian and Pan-African sisters. You are many, and I know you're there. I know we've got your strength. I know we've got your support. Happy Mother's Day to you. Time on IRIA FM 8:45. It's time now for the local and international headlines, and Natalie Campbell is standing by with that.
This is news from IRIA FM, Jamaica's non-aligned news voice.
Good morning. I am Natalie Campbell with the local and international headlines. A St. Catherine businessman was shot dead last evening. He has been identified as 35-year-old Mark Walker, otherwise called Sheldon Capel and Markey of Dr. Bird Circle Avery Housing Scheme in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. Police said the shooting occurred about 8:30 p.m. Reports said that Walker was having drinks when he was pounced upon by a man who opened fire, hitting him. He was pronounced dead at hospital. 31-year-old engineer Marvin Gray pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to defraud and obtaining money by false pretense when he appeared in the corporate area criminal court on Friday. A statement from Mocha says allegations are that in September 2014, Gray and his co-accused 31-year-old soldier Marlon Davidson defrauded a commercial bank of $271,000. A report was made to Mocha which resulted in the arrest and charge of both men. Gray is scheduled to be sentenced on Thursday, June 4. Meanwhile, the trial for Marlon Davidson will begin on Monday, October 5 in the corporate area criminal court. A Clarendon woman has been sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for lottery scamming. She is 29-year-old Tanisha Jackson of Cowpen, Frankfield in the parish. Jackson pleaded guilty to conspiracy to obtain property by false pretense under the Law Reform Act in the Spanish Town Circuit Court. In court on Friday, Jackson was arrested and charged in relation to investigations into lottery scamming activities between 2012 and 2013, in which she allegedly defrauded U.S. citizens of approximately $18,000. A Jamaican man was on Thursday found guilty of lottery scamming after a 6.5-day trial in North Dakota, United States. He's 25-year-old Sanjay Williams of Montego Bay, St. James. Williams was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud or mail fraud, 35 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit international money laundering. A statement from Mocha says Williams and his co-conspirators impersonated several trusted institutions in an effort to fleece unsuspecting individuals of millions of dollars. He was said to be instrumental in providing lead sheets to other lottery scammers to aid in the soliciting of money from U.S. pensioners. In news overseas, South Africa's main opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, DA, has elected its first black leader. 34-year-old Musi Maimani succeeds Helen Zille, who resigned unexpectedly last month. He faced party chairman Wilmot James for the job and was elected at a party conference in Port Elizabeth. The BBC reports that the DA has long battled perceptions. It is a white party representing those who benefited from apartheid. The party increased its share of the vote in 2014 elections, but has struggled to present itself as an alternative to the ANC, which has governed South Africa since the end of apartheid. According to the BBC, Ms. Zille herself has suggested the party needs a black leader if it is to ever unseat the ANC. Mr. Maimani has advanced quickly in the party, only joining the DA in 2009. Critics say he's too young and inexperienced to break the ANC's grip on power. Finally, Colombia has announced it will stop using a controversial herbicide to destroy illegal plantations of coca, the raw ingredient for cocaine. The decision follows a warning by the World Health Organization, WHO, that glyphosate is probably carcinogenic. The product has been used in U.S.-sponsored crop spraying anti-narcotics programs in South America. President Juan Manuel Santos has said Colombia will need to find other mechanisms to combat coca production. Anti-narcotics officials in Colombia will have until October to prepare an alternative plan. Those were the local and international headlines. News next at 11:45. You can go online to ariafm.net to view stories. From the RFM newsroom, I am Natalie Campbell.
The former 100 meters world record holder, Asafa Paul it is, announced his return to the sub-10 second league last evening with a fabulous victory in the men's 100 meters at the Jamaica International Invitational Track and Field meeting in front of a massive crowd inside the National Stadium. This, of course, is first race on local soil since his breakup with the Stephen Francis coach MVP Track Club. Powell, of course, sped to victory in 9.84 seconds, the fastest time in the world this year over the distance. And despite the boos, the American Ryan Bailey stepped up for second spot in 9.93 seconds, with Nesta Carter third in 9.98. Of course, Elaine Thompson, the fastest woman in the world this year, completed a quick sprint double for Jamaica at the meet. She took the women's event, the 100 that is, in 10.97 seconds. There was also a big performance from the young Javon Francis, the 4x4 sprint relay silver medalist at the World Championships in 2013. He took third spot in the men's 400, clocking his fastest time ever, 44.90 seconds. He finished behind Yusuf Al-Mazrel of Saudi Arabia. He won in a meet record 44.59 seconds. The Olympic champion LaShawn Merritt of the USA was third in 44.80. Shelley Ann Fraser-Price was third in the women's 200 in a fast 22.37 behind the Bahamian Shawnee Miller, who won in a world-leading 22.14. The men's event, of course, went to Nickel Ashmead. He won in 20.25 seconds. And the informed Jamaican Sanya Richards-Ross, she took the women's 400 meters 49.95. In fact, that was the first athlete. She was the first athlete this year to go under 50 seconds in the women's 400 meters.
So the when name again? The Batman.
Bershawn Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a veteran. He knows his thing, and it was a good field that he ran into. Yeah. Although the Saudi Arabian topped the field. And our Javon Francis did very well in that event.
Yes, I saw that. I was very proud of a Saudi Arabian. I said, wait, welcome to Jamaica, man. Wait. Welcome, man.
Yeah, you, sir.
Welcome to Jamaica. Well, where he live?
I don't know where he lives, but I know he's Saudi Arabian. He doesn't live here.
You can't get an interview with him. No.
If you had said that yesterday, I would have gotten him last evening.
Papa, it's the strangest thing I ever see, just sitting on calmly watching my TV.
And then a Saudi Arabian.
And did so well.
He won.
Oh no, I'm shocked.
You said that's all track and field.
I would like to interview him and to invite him for a power lunch.
Well, you could probably call his hotel. Maybe he's going away today.
Call him for my man. Call him. You call him.
I'll try. I'll try. But usually when meets happen, the people are moving out next morning.
Call him. You can't get him, man.
So I'll try. If he has not already checked out of his hotel.
I've never seen anything. It would
have been good for you to have him on this morning.
Yes. Yes, and I like the way in blue black, it is Him from Saudi Arabia, blue black like him come from Sudan. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, we love it. What's name again?
Yusuf something.
Whatever, Yusuf.
Mazral. Yusuf.
Yusuf, you're on my team.
Yeah.
You're on my team permanently.
You find he has another fan.
Yeah, man, me love him, man. Cause me just sit down and watch my TV and all of a sudden the man who win is from Saudi Arabia.
Blue black.
Blue black. Blue black. Nice. So happy Mother's Day to Paulette.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to you as well, and to all the mothers, including my very special mom and my dear wife as well.
Yes.
And all the good mothers. I hope for them to be better mothers.
Yes.
And the not so good mothers to be good mothers.
There you go.
Yeah. But I wish for all mothers a good and a happy day.
Thank you so much. But you carry anything for me? Okay, people sending me all roses on Twitter. You can do better than that, man.
Okay, then.
Send me something on Facebook.
I'll take care of that.
Send me a gift on Facebook.
I'll take care of that.
You know what? Thank you so much, Aaron Daughter, for the roses on Twitter. But let me tell you something, you see. Today is Mother's Day. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow is your birthday?
Yes.
Oh?
Yes, tomorrow is my birthday.
You're one of those lucky ladies.
With what? With two gifts?
You get the prizes in double.
I'm about to say that now. But I just want to make this clear.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2 different days.
What if you get the
and the
prizes
person who
like close to midnight?
No. The person who made that mistake. You made that mistake. You can get around that, you know. Let me get around that.
You can buy one gift and split it in 2.
Oh,
and give it to you one to give it to you today and tomorrow.
It's a good thing you're not my husband, you know. Because we don't know how many you know what that out, you know.
No, I'm just saying it can go that way.
I will be packing my dulce, you know.
It can go that way. As well as you can get one gift today and get one tomorrow.
That sounds like
you can also get 2 gifts today for today and tomorrow.
No.
As well as you can get 2 tomorrow.
No, I don't
for
want
today and tomorrow.
No. It don't work.
You want today's one today.
Right.
And tomorrow's tomorrow.
There you go.
Well, no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
So you can give me, today one, I'm going to allow you to send me something on Facebook, right?
But tomorrow, you ever get a different one tomorrow. Well, sometimes it's as I was saying, sometimes if you get one for both, sometimes better. It takes up less space.
Okay.
Because space is important. Even if it is a gift on social media.
You know, this is a drawback with social media, you know. A man send you a card on social media and a bunch of roses. Not you, Ivy Daughter, I love your roses. But, you know, it's as a bunch of roses or some flowers or so on social media and give you a gift. It's not working, you know.
You get it, man.
Me get it?
Yeah. You get it. And if him send it to you real, it's still going to take up space in here wherever you're keeping it.
Yeah, man, take up a space, man.
So that's what I'm saying. If you get one for both, it takes up less space.
It's like when me you did a fight over the floors and like Friday. You get on it?
No.
Okay. Right.
I know.
Right.
But
so I mean, not unless you want the floors you get, you could give it to me. You know,
no,
I would take that.
Steal, no. I'm not giving a steal floors, man.
Oh, we are giving
when I'm giving you floors, it's fresh.
So where is
water dripping off it.
So where is it?
I'm saying that when I'm giving you floors.
Yes, so where is it? Where the floors are you giving me with water dripping off it?
It's where it is to be now.
Which part is it?
It's not yours until you get it.
All right.
You don't worry about where it is until you get it.
I am not worried about it at all. Thank you so much for the floors in advance and the water dripping off it. Right? I appreciate it as usual.
I know you're appreciative of gifts.
Yeah, man. Every little thing you're giving me, I appreciate.
That's why when I get gifts from you, I keep them.
I know, don't
close.
you?
Yeah,
right?
years after.
I know. You show off, I know, don't it?
Because sometimes I take them and show you that I still have them.
Yes, like you showed me last week. You still have a gift for me. Which country you saw me carried from?
I think it was Egypt.
Right. So the gift that I bought from Egypt, 1999.
Is 1999?
It's quite possibly.
Or could be before. You see, I don't throw away my gifts when I get them. Some people throw them away.
If it was before, it's not Egypt, it's Ethiopia.
Oh, well, that's what Ethiopia.
That's what I was telling you.
Okay.
So it might be 93.
Yeah, when I get gifts, I keep them. But Sometimes some people get rid of them too, regardless of how great the gift is.
Well, you know that I have all the gifts that you give me. All of them are key rings.
No. You also have books that...
And me have all a bracelet. You never give me the book. You lend me the book. I just didn't give it back to you.
So like you got a gift.
Exactly. I didn't give it back to you. But
that was when again, about 2003?
Possibly. But I have it. It's doing very good job.
Okay.
It's Ghana in pictures?
No, not that one. Nelson Mandela. So it sounds like it's more than one book you have.
You give me a Nelson Mandela book?
Yeah, lent you.
What name?
Nelson Mandela.
No, sir. You don't know? Look at me and him are going to start this one off the air because you didn't lend me that book.
Yes. I bought that book in this museum.
And you lend it to me?
Yes. I reminded you about it countless
13
times.
minutes after 9 o'clock. I thought it was the Ghana book you reminded me about.
No, not the Ghana book. It's the Nelson Mandela. You check again. I think my name is in it too.
Really? That is good news. Well, all right, I'll go look to see if I have the Nelson Mandela book. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams.
All right, enjoy the rest of Mother's Day.
Yes, and my birthday tomorrow.
And happy birthday.
Yeah, but just circle and come back, you just circle and come.
No problem,
because you don't have to worry too much, You can't go over Mr. Booth Pharmacy.
You know I'm not a person that worries.
Me not too fussy, Robert.
I know that
when you go through the door, just go by the Lexus Pharmacy. Pick up and lick something and come back, man.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
You know if I'm begging for something.
No, you see, I don't like to be fixed. So I might just not make a circle, but make a square. Because you say I have to make a circle.
Me know, yes, all right. well, walk good. Square good and come back.
All right.
9:15, you're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African.
Reuniting the African family for development.
We've been playing him all morning, Ernie Ranglin. We think and we know one of the best guitarists of all times. Our own Ernie Ranglin, living right here in Jamaica. One of the greatest among us. We recognize him as such. On this Mother's Day, we give you Ernie Ranglin wrapped with a bouquet. We love him. May it's Child Month also. Children's safety and security, our priority. Happy Mother's Day to Michelle, Irie daughter, on Twitter. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the roses, the virtual roses. They are beautiful. And happy Mother's Day, Michelle, to your mom, right? Say hi to your mom for us and wish her a happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you, Aldit Honka in the Netherlands. Happy Mother's Day to you, Selector Princess. Happy Mother's Day to all of our tweets and Facebook friends and tumblers. Happy Mother's Day to you in the virtual space on the social media. A very, very special happy Mother's Day to you, Professor Vereen Shepherd, one of the mothers of Running African. Happy Mother's Day to you, Vereen. Usually such a good and a great pleasure to work with Professor Shepherd. We're heading to do that again very, very shortly. Stay tuned for that. Happy Mother's Day, Vereen. Special Mother's Day to Imani Tafari, Dr. Imani Tafari. Happy Mother's Day to you, my sis. Mama Fire, happy Mother's Day to you. Sister Parchi in Iron Shore, Montego Bay, happy Mother's Day to you. Text line 3909863. Very special Mother's Day says, please send Mother's Day greetings to Valda Johnson, who celebrated her 106th birthday today, who's celebrating her 106th birthday today. Greetings coming from your 3 children, 25 grandchildren, 41 great-grandchildren, and 35 great-grandchildren. Oh, happy Mother's Day to you, Valda Johnson. 106 today. via text. Good morning. Can you please send out happy Mother's Day to my beautiful mother, Charmaine Ranger, a.k.a. Debbie, in Spalding, and to my two loving... all right, it ends there. Your two loving children, I take it. All right. And Pearline Rose overseas, Miss Joyce Dawkins in St. Paul's. Greetings coming from daughters, sons, grandsons, and great-granddaughters, Shoshana and Sheki. Happy Mother's Day to all Elder Rasta, Empress, Mama Shanti, Mama Fire, Sister P, bless us Empresses. Happy Mother's Day to all the IRFM family. Didn't say who it's coming from, but hey. Please send Mother's Day greetings to my mom Valerie, coming from Tevin, her son. Happy Mother's Day to Millie from your two grandsons, Joselle and JJ. Also on the text line 3909863. Happy Mother's Day greetings to Miss Beverly Ogilvy, aka Miss Bev of 56 Oliver Road, Kingston 2, from your spouse Louis. Can you please send Happy Mother's Day greetings from all your children near and far? Thanks, Mommy, we love you. Andrea McGilvey in Montego Bay from your daughter Shanae. It is Mother's Day in Jamaica. It's Sunday, May 10. It's a big deal in Jamaica for many. And it's good to put some emphasis on a day for mothers, but it shouldn't be just one day after we're finished with today. The love that we pour out to mothers for this one day, let's ensure that if we weren't doing that before, we continue that tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And it doesn't have to be about gift giving, you know, by the way. As a matter of fact, let's show our love in practical ways. In practical ways. Is it enough to just give a gift on a day? Call it a day and move on? You know, the woman who advocated, Jarvis, who advocated for Mother's Day, she ended up boycotting Mother's Day, you know, because it became too commercialized. The consumerism inherent in Mother's Day, intolerable. So it really doesn't have to be about giving gifts and buying and spending. It should be about giving love and showing love. And how do you do that? Can we do that in tangible ways? Can we challenge ourselves to give a gift, to show love? Can we challenge ourselves to show love without giving a gift? Can we? Okay. Happy Mother's Day to wife Elfrida Drisdale of Chantamie, Portland. Also to wife Stacey Grant Thompson. Okay, please send happy Mother's Day greetings to my mom, Jacqueline Lee, a.k.a. Leslie in Gordon Hall, Clarendon, coming from your daughter. Please send happy Mother's Day to Juliet McCarthy of Oxford St. Mary and all members of the Shiloh Apostolic Church in Stewart Town, St. Mary. Happy Mother's Day to Angela, a.k.a. Angie from Angel. Happy Mother's Day to Miss Lamita Phillips, coming from your 4 children and your 7 grandchildren. We love you, they say. Happy Mother's Day to Pat out at Brown Peace, Islington, from your 2 sons, Joselle and JJ. We did say that before. You're sending it again. We're trying to take as many greetings as possible on the text line. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Ketura Bryan, Sister Ketty of New Bowens, Clarendon, from Miriam. Mona Road, Kingston 6. It says, read now, please. I just did. Greetings to my beautiful mom, Joan Monroe. Greetings coming from her daughters, Shania and Ashanti. They say we love you. Happy Mother's Day to Mom Pinchy, coming from Epping Farm, coming from your son Buffalo. If you're texting and you text just like a 1 line or 2 lines for a Mother's Day greetings for your mom, you're more likely to hear it. But if you do like many paragraphs, then we're going to lose it, right, in trying to read it. It's going really fast here. The text line is all a buzz. Happy Mother's Day to Diane Graham from French Park, coming from your 4 children and 3 grandchildren. Mother's Day greetings on our text line 3909863. Mother's Day greetings to my spiritual mother, Mrs. Beulah Harvey of Tri-All Heights, Spanish Town. Tell her the many of us. Okay, all right. Is this coming from Richard Roden? Under her care, loves her, from Richard Roden. Special Mother's Day to my mom, Miriam Bromfield in Monroe St. Bess, from your sons, Dean and Junior. Happy Mother's Day to Diane Graham from French Park, coming from your 4 children and 3 grandchildren. Happy Mother's Day greetings to my dear mom, Ronnie Calvin, and wife, Leona. It's greetings coming from Jaman. Happy Mother's Day to Mom Bibi, coming from kids to Tamisha, Mampi and grandsons. Happy Mother's Day to Rose Wilson in Content, Hanover, from your 7 children and 5 grandchildren. We love her. Special Mother's Day greetings to Miriam Bromfield in Monroe St. Bess, from your sons, Dean and Junior. So that's it on the text line. Going to take a quick break. Come right back. meeting in Savannah, Lamar on May 15, that's Friday, for a march, a motorcade, a mass rally in Independence Park. And the question is, we're marching again. After the march, then what? We heard from members of the Respect and Protect Our Children Coalition. There are already plans in place to ensure that after the march, the activism, the advocacy continues for change. But it brought my mind back to Minister Peter Bunting in his reference to his moments of critical reflection as many dark nights of the soul, and how that echoed the inner conflicts of many of us as decent citizens of Jamaica, who in those moments, like F. Scott Fitzgerald, equate our current situation in Jamaica today to the witching hour. A moment in time when it seems that Mother, Father, God has turned his or her face away from us, away from Jamaica, away from our decadence, corruption, violence, and immorality. In the dark night of a soul, it is always 3 o'clock in the morning. And it brought my mind back to last year, March 28, 2013. The bottom line is that on March 28, 2013, when thousands of us took to the streets of Kingston on the 50th anniversary of the Coral Gardens massacre, we were confident that if we stood together, Rastafarians, Pan-Africans, African-centered ones, PNP, JLP, Christians, Jamaicans, we could and would disrupt this witching hour, which we have been forced to endure. We could affect the energies which continue to oppress and exclude us. The bottom line this morning is brought to you courtesy of Adwa Nutrition for Life Health Food Store, located at shop number 42 City Center Mall and shop number 2 Westgate Plaza, Montego Bay. Adwa Nutrition for Life. Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. The bottom line is that when we marched on March 28, 2013, we were confident that in this gathering, we were bearing witness not only for ourselves, but for those who are dead, our ancestors. Baba Paul Bogle, Baba Sam Sharp, Nee Tai Chi, Nana Gahigan, Nana of the Maroons, Mwalimu Marcus Messiah Garvey, Baba King Emmanuel, Baba Leonard Howell, Nana Kuba, Baba Bookman. And for those who did not join us in bearing witness and might have even criticized us for marching, as we did, the bottom line is that we marched because we knew that in this manner, in bearing witness, we can affect change. We marched because we were confident that it is in the collective, in the unity of the Jamaican people, that we can bring about change. We gathered on the 28th of March because we were certain of this one thing, that as a people, we are the ones, the masses of the Jamaican people, Rastafarians, Christians, PNP, JLP, Pan-Africanists, that we are the ones whatever our labor, without access to land or the possibility of ownership, without access to housing, facing social injustice and institutionalized inequities, with no justice for our children. We marched because we knew that we were the ones who would continue to be victimized by an unjust justice system. We marched because we are the ones without equal access to education, health care, and equal opportunities to take care of our children and our families. We marched because we are the ones in an unholy contest for dignity. The bottom line is that we marched on Holy Thursday 2013 because we are the ones who continue to be brutalized by a police force which sees us in our black skins first as criminals and never as equal citizens. A police force armed in the wake of Bogle's March of 1865 to protect the oppressors. We marched on Holy Thursday against police brutality. We marched because we knew that we had to bear witness to Coral Gardens and Tivoli Gardens and to say never again, never again. We marched for reparations. We marched in the name of justice. We marched in the name of equality. We marched to bring the truth of the massacre at Coral Gardens and the complicity of the Jamaican people in a brutal suppression of a liberation movement to bring public awareness. We marched on Holy Thursday because for the past 5 decades we have been subjected to the perpetual dark nights of the soul. In the dark night of the soul, it's always 3 o'clock in the morning. But why do we march? You still ask. And what happens after the march? We're going to march again on May 15. It's National Children's Day. The bottom line is that our movement goes well beyond redressing inequities in social justice, land ownership, education, or health care. Our movement seeks systemic change that is so deep that it's hard to put into words, especially the words of conventional political discourse. A world of justice, of peace, of healing, a world of love is not something that can be demanded, and we understand this. The bottom line is that for most of us who stood silently at Gordon House, marched from Heroes Circle and rallied in Mandela Park, Holy Thursday 2013, such a world is not even yet a vision, but only a stirring in the heart. Yet neither is it a mere idealism. For in time, this stirring will generate visions that will crystallize into political and social action. The question for now, though, is how to act on a stirring of a heart that seeks a revolution of justice, a revolution of love, a revolution of equity, a revolution of peace for our children's safety and security. The bottom line is that even while our movement bears witness and speaks truth to power, we understand that active participation and courage, the likes of which we have barely begun to challenge ourselves of, are the tools with which to disrupt this dark night of the soul. The divine intervention we seek, even as the face of Mother, Father, God seems to be turned away from us and the church continues to hold a divergent gaze. The divine intervention we seek is within ourselves. To be ourselves active participants in the movement for change. The bottom line is that we're asking our brother Peter Bunting and all the ministers of government, all the politicians, PNP, JLP, to join us in this movement of change at the reconciling of their critical reflexivity. The bottom line is that we challenge ourselves to be more than mere talkers, to be leaders, every one of us, wherever we are, and stop this madness of relying on any one individual to lead. The function of leadership is to provide more leaders, not more followers. We challenge ourselves to bear witness to the political tribalism and call it what it is, regardless of who it is coming from and where it is rearing its ugly head. We challenge ourselves to not be afraid to speak truth to power about tribalist behavior and to actively participate in movements to change such cancerous manifestations. We challenge ourselves to make our children's safety and security our priority. We challenge ourselves to ball out when we see others molesting our children. We challenge ourselves to bear witness to corruption and to name it, call it what it is, regardless of where it originates, and to speak truth to power about corrupt practices without fear and with greater courage than we have ever mustered before. We challenge ourselves. The bottom line is that this is not just a job of journalists and activists. It must become our responsibility. We must bear witness, understanding that to bear witness is more than just to look. We challenge ourselves to bear witness to structural discrimination and violence, police brutality and crime, to identify this and expose it, regardless of where it is coming from or who the perpetrator is. We challenge ourselves. We challenge ourselves to speak truth to power about arrogance and the kind of behavior which only serves to cement the control and power and the power base of politicians, and to bear witness to their actions, not allowing them to reframe corrupt practices as love for the people or political tribalism as long-suffering service to the nation. We challenge ourselves. And we must be able to differentiate between emotional outbursts and passion for the nation. The bottom line is that we bear witness to their actions and speak truth to their faces, refusing to allow them to continue to normalize corruption, codify bad behavior, and support structures of institutionalized elitism, classism, and colorism. The bottom line is that it is not always easy to speak the truth about what is happening to real people in this country, and to bear witness to the concealed brutality of the very structure of this nation. But we must count ourselves in as agents of change and stop asking questions about what them doing. If not us, then who? We, each and every one of us, individually are responsible for where we are today. We, each and every one of us, individually are responsible for the safety and security of our children. We're responsible and obliged to actively participate in our own lives, or else have others define and decide our destiny for us. The bottom line is that Holy Thursday 2013, we marched. We presented ourselves at Gordon House. We marched from Hero Circle to Mandela Park for a rally. In doing so, we made it known that we were present, that we are bearing witness, and that we would not be silenced. We brought further consciousness to the ongoing issues of police brutality and state oppression, from Pinnacle to Bacawall and Coral Gardens to Tivoli to the present. We marched to bear witness. We made it known that we were bearing witness and demanding change. On May 15, National Children's Day, we gather again for a motorcade, a material manifestation point in Savannah Lamar. We will march throughout Savannah Lamar from different points across SAV, and we will do that Understanding that there is more to being free, there's more to peace, there's more to protecting our children's safety and security than just talking about it. We ask you, the people of Jamaica, to be part of this movement for change. Lead from where you are. Get together in your homes, in your communities, in your churches, in your youth clubs, and start the conversation for change. And when you are done, join us in Savannah Lamar on May 15. You must take a stand, even if you're sitting down. We're going to march on May 15 because we are bearing witness to our role and responsibility in protecting our children. We're marching for our children's safety and security. We know it is our priority. That is the bottom line. Bottom line is brought to you courtesy of Adwa Nutrition for Life Health Food Store, located at Shop 42, City Center Mall, and Shop 2, Westgate Plaza, Montego Bay. Adwa Nutrition for Life. Let your food be your medicine, and your medicine be your food. Okay, this is our saying goodbye for today inside of the Africa Forum, Running African. Making way for DJ Amber. You just put that in my mind, Amber. I never call you DJ, but you just put it in my mind. All right, we're making way for Amber.
kenepe adonia nyibaka